Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Jimmy Butler makes bold statement after missing last shot versus Washington Wizards. Miami Heat star forward Jimmy Butler doesn't seem to have any qualms about attempting a three-pointer in the final seconds of the team's loss to the Washington Wizards, even though he missed the shot and Miami could have tied the game by scoring inside the three-point line. Butler succinctly explained to the media why he doesn't regret taking the final shot of the game from deep. This isn't the first time that the forward has made headlines for missing a three-pointer late in a game. Butler missed a shot from deep in the waning moments of the Heat's Game 7 loss to the Boston Celtics in the 2022 Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics won the deciding Game 7 but lost to Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals. Butler is shooting the ball with great accuracy from three-point range this season, as he is converting a career-high 42.5% of his shots from deep on 2.4 attempts per game. But Butler's three-point shot wasn't falling against the Wizards, considering he failed to make a single one of his 4 attempts from behind the arc. The 34-year-old ended up with 23 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal and 1 block on 9 of 20 shooting from the field. The Heat lost to one of the NBA's worst teams on Sunday. While the Wizards are now riding a 2-game winning streak, they own just an 11-53 record on the season, the second worst record in the Eastern Conference ahead of only the Detroit Pistons. To add insult to injury, Miami has now lost 3 games in a row after coming up just short against the Wizards. The Heat also lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder on March 8 and Dallas Mavericks on March 7, with both losses coming by single digits. Butler and the Heat will aim to snap their losing streak on Wednesday night against the team that eliminated them in the 2023 NBA Finals in the Denver Nuggets. The Miami Heat announced this Sunday, 11, just hours before the match against the Boston Celtics, that they granted winger Jimmy Butler a leave of absence due to the death of a member of his family. Butler did not play in the 110-106 loss, and his status for the Heat's 2 games this week before the All-Star break, against the Milwaukee Bucks and Philadelphia 76ers, is still uncertain. According to the note, issued by the player's agent, Bernie Lee, Butler and his family ask for privacy at this time and that news will be communicated as soon as possible. Even limited by injuries this season, in which he has played 37 games so far, Butler is the Heat's top scorer with an average of 21.4 points per game. The point guard still averages 50% shooting from the field, 5.5 rebounds, 4.6 assists, and 1.3 steals. Bill Simmons reveals why former Celtics target chose rival over them. DeLon Wright was one of the more well-known players who hit the buyout target. After the Washington Wizards waived him, the Miami Heat signed him, as reported by ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski's X account. However, Bill Simmons revealed that the Boston Celtics, too, were interested in Wright. Simmons explained that Wright chose the Heat over the Celtics because the former could offer something the latter could not. The Celtics wanted Wright, by the way. And Miami promised him playing time, so you know, he said on the March 8 episode of the Bill Simmons podcast. The Celtics have consistently depended on Drew Holiday, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard for the lion's share of their backcourt minutes. They also acquired Jaden Springer at the NBA trade deadline, meaning that playing time would have been sparse in Boston. Since signing with Miami, Wright has played 3 games total. He's averaged 5 points a game while shooting 44.4% from the field and 50% from 3. With Josh Richardson out for the season, Wright's role in Miami could very well expand when the playoffs come around. Before the NBA trade deadline passed, Wright was one of the Celtics' targets. Hoops Hype's Michael Scotto reported Wright among the players they were interested in a February 5 story. Boston has expressed interest in a wide range of trade targets, including Kelly Olynyk, DeLon Wright, Andre Drummond, and others, league sources told Hoops Hype. Drummond would fit the parameters of Boston's current compensation package above, while Olynyk and Wright would likely cost more. At the time, the Celtics had the $6.25 million Grant Williams trade exception. Wright was owed $8 million, so the Celtics would have had to combine contracts to match to acquire Wright. He ultimately stayed put until the Wizards bought him out. The Celtics evidently didn't lose interest in Wright since, per Simmons, they tried to add him to the roster again. Boston may still have interest in Wright and could add him during the 2024 NBA free agency period. Though Wright did not work out, the Celtics could look for other players to help them in their chase for the title. One of those players is Danny Green, who MassLive's Brian Robb floated as a possible target. Robb explained why Green holds some appeal, despite not having played much lately, in a March 2 story. The 36-year-old was released by the 76ers back in November after playing just 2 games this season. He has been doing some media in recent weeks, but has more playoff experience than anyone on this list. While he can't help much on the floor anymore, he might be able to add some perspective on the bench, Robb wrote. Green has won 3 championships with 3 different teams, San Antonio, Toronto, and the Lakers. Since he has been there before, he could potentially help the Celtics in the locker room when the going gets tough. The Celtics don't have to add anyone right away, but if they want veteran leadership, Green may be their best option. Miami Heat don't want to give up Bam Adebayo for Kevin Durant. Apparently, the Miami Heat's new focus this offseason is star Kevin Durant, from the Brooklyn Nets. It turns out that, according to Anthony Chang and Barry Jackson, from the Miami Herald, the Florida team does not want to trade Bam Adebayo, a player desired by the Nets. Negotiations between the teams, which were already underway, ended up being paralyzed due to Brooklyn's lack of interest in an offer based on Tyler Herro and Duncan Robinson, which was the Heat's idea. It is worth noting that, at the present time, the business is not viable. According to NBA rules, a team cannot have 2 athletes acquired through trades who are signed under a designated rookie extension. In the case of the New York team, Ben Simmons is already that athlete, so it would be necessary to change Ben to have Bam Bam, which could happen in the exchange with the Heat or even with another franchise. Adebayo, 25, averaged 19.1 points, 10.1 rebounds, and 3.4 assists, as well as 1.4 steals and 0.8 blocks last season. Kevin Durant, in turn, scored 29.9 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 6.4 assists, as well as 0.9 steals and 0.9 blocks per game in the last edition of the league, as he is about to turn 34 years old. Despite his young age, Bam has already participated in an All-Star game and was elected to the NBA All-Defensive Second Team on 3 occasions. These honors are an indication that the center is a very valuable asset for the Heat, as well as an important young man for the team's aspirations, which could weigh on Miami's resistance to the deal, even though Kevin Durant is an NBA star. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation, Kevin Durant? Leave your opinion in the comments.